Hello, peoples of the internet. So, I don't got Evie in the room today. She's out with my daughter right now, who is making us dinner. Um, I do have my plants and my crystals, and we have the energy of nature who's all around us right now. We do have some light on and off. It is a cloudy day here, but there's some little bits of blue coming through, and just like lots of gratitude out here because we're getting a lot of rain, which is needed at this time period. They said this is to be a drought year. So just a lot of gratitude for the rain. And I know our people on the prairies over in Manitoba are having some pretty wild weather. They're having tornadoes and major wind and storms. So lots of prayers to them that they're able to listen to their guts, to their stomach brains, and they're guided in good ways to take care of themselves in good ways at this time. And I guess the thing I can throw in here too is when it's raining lots, I like to put purity codes, love, light, and harmonic frequency into the clouds so that it purifies the water that's in the sky, and that the rain that comes down is holding harmonic frequencies and is nourishing to all the things that it touches. So the plants and the animals and the earth herself and the humans, because we're down here too. So just purify that water. And putting purity codes and harmonic frequencies into water is something you can do with the sky, but it's also something you can do with lakes, with pools, with your shower, with the water that you drink or that you give to your animals or your plants. You can do the same thing. You just intend in harmonic frequencies and purity codes. Purify. Return it to its origins. Remembering that water is a crystal structure and it holds memory and it can be programmed. So, and remembering that you are a water resource inside of you, you're majority water. And so remembering that the way we speak to ourselves matter. So today I'm going to talk about some information that's coming in. It's could be considered some pretty racy information because there's punches in this information. And I can see why we're receiving the information that we are around the importance of alignment in our choices, and that this information is coming after that. So to watch that video, I think 2 videos ago I put out the importance of choice. So okay. So, information coming in right now about the choices and the importance of the choices, and why it's so important that we're not listening to the distortion, and why we're listening to our own choices from our center of selves. So, to what we're being guided to. The choices we're being guided to make for our best and highest well-being. I'm just fixing that again. There we go. So making those choices that are best for our best and highest well-being, listening to those choices that are in our best and highest well-being, and aligning with those choices at the center of ourselves. Our center of ourself is connected to the soul. And when we're able to align with those choices, when we're able to stop, slow down, and listen, so that takes the feminine first. Slow down, love yourself into wholeness, and listen to those choices. And in that last video, I would have said, even though there's distortion all around us, inside our bodies and around our bodies, it's life, living, thoughts and emotions. We need to make a sacred space around the choices that we make. And what it was showing me So it was showing me about a karma of our past histories. So what it was showing me was that in our histories, a lot of people have coupled together that weren't meant to be together. And we did these couplings because it was like you made your bed, you sleep in it. And in a lot of cases, people were married off to people that the family systems wanted to, make choices for land or for power in the family systems, royalty and things like that. And so there weren't even choices. Like, people didn't even make the choices. Family systems made the choices for them. They definitely didn't come from their souls and their center of selves. And what the Godsource was saying to me is that when we settle for a poor mix or a bad mix or a mix that was never supposed to be, we begin to combine DNA and RNA that was never meant to be combined. And that combined DNA can create sicknesses and illnesses down the ancestral lineages that are basically karma, is how the Godsource was showing it to me. It's karma for not being in alignment. And not only do we create illnesses and sicknesses in the lineage down the line, and the children pay the price for the karma, and for the poor choices, for the unalignment, the disalignment, and the mixtures that were never meant to be mixed. We're supposed to come together in divine matchings. And when we don't come together in divine matchings, then these things are created in the lineages. And the Godsource was showing me, like, in past histories, when people were forced together, there was violence, there was rape, there was abuse. And not only did the partners pay the prices, but so did the children. And that would have created more stress, more pain, more suffering. It was showing that some of the karmas are psychological, they're mental, they're emotional, and they're physical, like the medicine wheel. The traumas go into all categories. And one of those very obvious traumas is to the physical body. So when you get two recessive genes coming together, and it creates illnesses. So an example of that would be enlarged hearts. Another example of that would be cyclical vomiting syndrome. Another example of that would be ankylosing spondylitis. Another example of that would be cancers. Another example of that would be probably brain things. It was showing me different brain neurological issues and symptoms. So there's a whole bunch of illnesses and sicknesses that travel down the ancestral lineages because of our poor matches, where we weren't listening to our hearts and we were settling for what we were in instead of finding good matches. And so the Godsource was telling me that this is the time period to own that. We need to own it so that we can clear it. And all the examples I gave are ones that are traveling down our ancestral lineages through time and space. That and there's others, diabetes, childhood arthritis, and all of these things, which are partially due to us tucking away pain spaces, but it also is from the choices that we've made and the disconnected choices that we've made. And so what the Godsource was telling me is that this is the time period to heal that karma. The karma that I'm paying the karma from the choices that were made prior to me, and our children pay the karma that was made for the choices prior to them. And so the karma is in the bodies. And that when we can clear that karma, when we can clear that program, and the Godsource said to me, so like if you were given a choice today, Lisa, that said you wouldn't be with your partner who you created your children with, if you said no today, would you say no today if it meant that your children wouldn't carry the karma of the illnesses? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I would. I would not do that if I knew that today. So forgive us, for we know not what we did. But now that we're beginning to become aware of it, we need to be wiser into the future and not pick these karmic relationships that are these damaging relationships to our lineages and to our children and to our bodies. And so this is a time period of us forgiving ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves for the choices that we made in the slavery matrix, the disconnected choices that we made. And I saw that this was also connected to us staying at jobs that aren't feeding us, that aren't nourishing us, us staying in housing situations that aren't feeding us, that aren't nourishing us. Those aren't good fits, and we're just settling because we were taught in our histories to just take it and suck it up and shut the fuck up, right? Settle for it and be appreciative that you have something. And the Godsource is saying, no, we're not meant to do that. The universe, it has golden timelines in it, and it's got golden experiences in it, that when you say no, you'll finally get to a yes that will create that golden mixture, and it has that for its own sake. But the humans have never got there because we're so busy settling and stagnating that we've not gotten to the places where we were supposed to mix. And you know, for our era, for my era, it's already too late. I'm not having more children, so I can't recreate in that new way. But I can forgive myself, and I can access love in those spaces for myself. And as I access love for myself, I can forgive all of the humans that came before, and all the damages and karma and sicknesses that were created by the disconnected choices that we made. And so what the Godsource was showing me is that you're going to remember the people that have watched these prior videos that I talked about maybe 6 weeks ago, 4 to 6 weeks ago. I was talking about, for one thing, I was talking about the choices, right? I'm clearing the choices. But also, what was I talking about 6 weeks ago? I distracted my own self. It'll come back. Yeah, I did the body video last time too, with all of the programs that are in the body, that were created in the body, that are also adding to illnesses and sicknesses in the body. So the process is us clearing our own selves first, and then clearing these programs from ourselves so that we aren't recreating these into the future, and so that our children, we're the breaker of the chains, so that our children don't settle for less than or toxic relationships, and they look for those divine matches that will begin to create wellness in the future. And in the meanwhile, because it's karma, right? If you watch my prior videos, a karma is created by our own selves. So we created the karma to ourselves, thinking that we need to learn lessons on these things. But this is the year of clearing karma. So that means that if I can access these wounds and I can heal these wounds, if I can bring love into these wound spaces and clear them, then I can begin to clear the sicknesses and the old modes of functioning and the old ways of existing from my mind, body, spirit, and soul, so that I can clear them from myself, and people will clear them prior. So what I understand from what the Godsource has shown me is that into the future, there's going to be miracle healings, that we're going to begin to see miracle healings. And in the past, we didn't see the miracle healings. People are like, no, you can't heal Parkinson's. No, you can't heal asthma. No, you can't heal arthritis and things like that. You can't heal diabetes. And the reality is, so far, we haven't been able to heal it. However, into the future, I do believe we are going to actually begin to heal it, because we're starting to uncover things that we didn't uncover before. We didn't know these things before. But as we begin to know it, and as we begin to clear it, and as we begin to love ourselves in these spaces, right, that's the thing I was going to talk about, is about loving ourselves in new ways. So what I had awakened, I don't know, 6-ish weeks ago or more, was the ability to love ourselves in ways that we've never loved ourselves before. And at that point in time, the Godsource was telling me that the females are going to heal this first. And it's a barrier that was inside of our mothers, inside of their mothers, inside of their mothers, that was burying their ability to access that mass wave of light that is available inside of ourselves for ourselves. And when we begin to access that level of love, literally it's Godsource light is what it is. It's essence, but it's also love, what we call love. So when I can begin to access that level of love for myself that has never been accessed before. So I don't know the mothers that have been healing this space that I'm speaking about today. And what I could tell is this is connected to us forgiving ourselves for the choices that we made and for the way that we mothered in the past. And that's been a really hard space for the moms to heal. I saw this coming in through roses. So at first we were accessing the divine feminine, the roses, the essence of the rose, which to me is connected to the Mother Mary. And the Mother Mary has that crown of roses. And why does she have a crown of roses? Because the essence that she's giving off into herself and out of herself is the highest frequency of form, which is no fear. She's got no fear. She's cleared all fear. And so if I fear a wound space inside myself that it's our inability to make choices that I've spoke about in the last couple videos, where I'm talking about procrastination. And then the Godsource said, the reason humans have procrastination is because we fear making choices. So if we just made the choice, we wouldn't be procrastinating. But why do we fear the choices? Because in childhood, we weren't allowed to make choices. We were controlled. It was a codependent society where parents were taught to control their children because that's what the slavery matrix does. It gets its power from control. And so we were controlled in our decisions. So we were too scared to make them. Choices terrified us. And that's what the Godsource said to me. The Godsource said, Lisa, the humans they're not good at making choices. They don't enjoy the experience of choices, which is crazy because the one thing humans have is free will. We have this conscious brain that gives us the conscious ability to choose in a moment. We have free will, and we should enjoy the free will. Because free will is part of us making novel choices. It's part of us taking a step on the journey. It means we're journeying and we're taking a novel step on the journey, which means, oh, wow, I'm doing something novel. Look what I get to explore. This is awesome. This is amazing. As a creator being, I'm creating my world in front of me. This is so fun. But the humans don't think that. We think, oh my God, I can't do it. I can't make the choice. This is terrifying. What if I fail? Right? And that's what we've felt inside of ourselves as mothers. We feel like we're failing. Like I don't do it enough. I'm not perfect. I fail. Look at my children. They have these sicknesses. This is my fault. I failed. Right? Some of us are seeing our children grow up in certain ways and we're like, oh, our kid is selfish. We failed. Right? Or our kid is needy. We failed. Right? And we see these things and we think we failed, but what the Godsource was telling me is we haven't failed. This is actually a Godsource wound. It's a universe wound where we projected as conscious seeing beings to the Godsource. We said, oh my God, this universe is terrifying. You know, there's lions eating giraffes and there's like spiders who bite and there's all this like tsunamis and like I was talking about earlier today, my brain is just like, it's this time period. We're meant to go from our hearts to our brain. I can see it. I was just talking about that they have these right now. It'll come back to me. But you know what I mean. These things that are in Manitoba right now. And thank you. I know you're calling in this energy for me so that I can pull it into myself. So, whirlwinds. No, Lisa. Again, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? It's about not having to be perfect, but growing. So The mothers haven't been perfect, but we've been growing. And this is what the universe, so when we projected back to the universe, ew, this universe is disgusting. Why would you create this universe? Like, it's so terrifying and scary. Things happen here like earthquakes and tornadoes. There's the word tornado, right? Right. Well, it's part of nature. Those things are part of nature. They're part of the elements, and the elements are part of nature. And thanks to a client, because we were talking about this the other day, and I was saying that there's all this electrical activity right now. There's the storms and the lightning, and there's internal electric activity where our nervous systems are firing off, and there's all of this debris outside of us, and we're getting this pressure, and the pressure is for us to make a choice from freedom, make a choice from our truth, right? But electricity is an elemental. We don't have to fear that. It's a natural part of this existence. It's an element, and I can make peace with electricity, and I can make peace with tornadoes, and I can make peace with storms, and I can make peace with fires, and I can make peace with all of those things, knowing they all have a natural right to exist. And then if I'm in alignment with my soul, I'll be guided to get the heck out of there or hide in the basement or whatever the heck that we do as part of our living. It's part of a living being here, is part of being connected to the Godsource. And so the universe isn't doing anything wrong by having that. It's just another experience. And when it radically accepts itself, and that it's doing the best that it can, and that it's always learning, and that it's a process of experience, when we accept that fully and completely, then we can begin to access behind that, which is actually the infinite potentials. And we begin to pull in infinite potentials from the space beyond where the Godsource created this universe. There's a space even beyond that of infinite potential that we can begin to access when we fully accept what's in front of it. And that's what we're going to do today and now with these sicknesses, right? But to get there, we have to, so the universe has to love itself into wholeness and knowing that it's doing the best it can. And so that's actually a space inside the female, inside the feminine. That's me moving energy, the hiccups. And I need to learn to love my part inside of me that's never received love before by the women before and the women before and the women before, because they believed at the core of them that they were failing, that there was something wrong, that they were broken, that they weren't doing good enough. And underneath of that is the truth. You are good enough. You've always been good enough. You're learning. You're a human. You're an animal that's here on the earth plane, in this universe, doing the best you can. Just like the universe is doing the best it can, you're doing the best you can too. And I can forgive and love myself in those spaces, even though the karma of the human bodies are presenting sicknesses. We're doing the best we can. We are all doing the best we can in the time that we're doing it. We would not have even been able to access this information from in the slavery matrix. So we're beginning to access information as we begin to exit the slavery matrix and we begin to come into that state of freedom. We're starting to access this information so that we can clear this information. But to clear the information, we have to love ourselves into wholeness. We have to wash that space clear. We have to radically accept what was so that we can begin to clear it today. And what the Godsource was showing me is that some of these illnesses and sicknesses where I said we're going to start to have some miracle healings when we clear these programs. We begin to access something we've never accessed before. And that starts in the pineal, which is straight back in here. The pineal is the pathway to the other universes, to the multiverse. So us in other timelines, us in other universes, and there's an us in another universe that didn't exist this way, that existed in wholeness already, that didn't have the sicknesses. And I can access those codes through the pineal. And then I'm going to circulate those codes in both directions down to the heart. And the heart is my access to the Godsource. That's the healing center. So that's me going to pull in healing codes from the Godsource. And then I'm going to cross over and go down, further down to the feet, because in the feet is my codes from this universe, from the form realm. That's the plant codes, that's the mineral codes, that's the elements and elemental codes, life force, frequency, and codes from those beings that maybe know that there's a way to heal these things today. And I'm going to receive those codes, and then I'm going to bring them up across the heart center, the Godsource healing center, and then I'm going to go back up to the pineal, and then from the pineal down again. And it's a circulation system. And I'm going to awaken that circulation system in all of us today. But first, we're going to clear the pain and the suffering and the sadness and the heartbreak and the helplessness and the hopelessness and the confusion around the choices we made in the past, the disconnected choices that led us into partnering and combining DNA and RNA that was never meant to be combined. And the karmic prices are being paid today, so we need to clear that. So I hope that's clear. I'm trying to make it as clear as possible, and I'm just going to clear those spaces now. So, Source God Mother, I acknowledge and accept everything that we're speaking of so far today, and I clear, cleanse, neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize those pain spaces. I alchemize those modes of functioning and those ways of existing, the disconnected choices, not knowing that we were making disconnected choices. And that's why it's so important that we're making aligned choices so that we can follow the alignment from this point forward, and we don't just take what the head tells us to just settle for it and just take it. That's all part of separation consciousness. That's the pain space of God, the demon realm, or the pain space of God trying to get fed and trying to get us to be broken like we've been. And to, in our brokenness, we harm the planet and we harm the animals and the plants and the mineral kingdom. There is no alignment, right? We think we're at the top of the hierarchy and we can do whatever the fuck we want. And that's sickness. We're not doing that anymore. We're done. And we collapse that pain program. We collapse those modes of functioning. We collapse that karma through the genes, through the DNA and RNA, the mismatching to the mismatching to the mismatching, causing sickness and damage, the psychological damage, the physical damage, the emotional damage, the mind damage, the spirit damage, all of the violence and the raping and the abuse and the war. It was all part of the mismatches. It was all part of choosing from the disconnect. And as we clear that from our mind, body, spirits, and souls, as we break those chains, we clear all of that from our mind, body, spirit, and souls. We clear that from our modes of functioning and our ways of existing from this point and into the future. And to do that, we have to forgive these spaces. We have to forgive, forgive, forgive. We have to forgive we didn't know any different. Forgive us for we know not what we do. We have to forgive that if we could go backward, we would make different choices, but that tells us that we care enough that we're going to make different choices into the future. And we're ready to make the different choices. If making different choices and being aligned with our choices and beginning to enjoy our choices is the alternative to what we've been doing, heck yeah, we want this. Clear it, and clear it some more, and stimulate that program from the feet to the heart, to the pineal, to the heart, to the feet, to the heart, to the pineal. Circulate the healing codes, the knowledge, the wisdom, the purification. Help us to remember the truth. Help us to know why it's so important that we put the feminine first, that we slow down, that we have compassion, that we love ourselves into wholeness, that we don't listen to the internal distortion or the external distortion, that we listen to our truth, and our truth is going to guide us in a good way, and it's going to say, leave, don't do this. It's not a good match. Right? You deserve better. You deserve better for work. You deserve better for living. You deserve better for your partnerships. And I'm so sorry that we did this through time and space. And you might be saying right now, yeah, but I picked a good partner and we get along really well and it's a really good match. Maybe it is, but did your parents and their parents and their parents? Because this is a multi-generational wound space. So if it's coming into you or it's coming into your children, it could have come from up there. And what it's looking for is this depth of love that we've never given it before. This radical acceptance that we did wrong. We did the wrong thing. We caused harm as a human species through space and time, and we're not going to do that into the future, and we're done that now. And we clear, cleanse, neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize modes of functioning, ways of existing, mindsets. We purify contracts, binds, barriers, agreements, cord, C-O-R-D, cord, so that we can begin to C-H-O-R-D, cord with one another, because that's when we'll know that we're in alignment. This is where divine matches will come from, that toning together. And we could do, we're barely doing that in the past 3 years, right? This is a brand new thing for us. So we can't not forgive ourselves because we were trapped in an old mode of functioning. And we're so sorry. We're so sorry to ourselves, to our bodies, to the DNA and RNA, to the planet, to this universe. And we're so sorry that we heal the universe at the same time. I'm so sorry, universe, that you had to go through this, and God and the universe together, right? I forgive you. You're doing the best you can. It's all just experiences. And we clear all of that. We clear it, and clear it some more. We send love into all of these spaces. We neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize it back to dust. We clear past the DNA and RNA, and we disintegrate the old DNA back to dust, and we initiate the new, and we reconfigure for each unique blueprint. We clear, cleanse, and heal all drama, karma, trauma, pull out the dharma, neutralize, purify, clear, cleanse, and heal from the cellular, energetic, and magnetic structures, and from the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious minds, pulling all of that through to oneness, to wholeness, to peace, to truth, to love. Welcoming the helper frequencies and the helper beings into these spaces to continue to help to guide us to clear these spaces. I want to throw in here too that I remember in the last video I couldn't remember the thyroid. What was the program in the thyroid? It keeps coming up for me. So what was the program in the thyroid is overstressing or understressing, right? What one client saw was blaming the external realm in the overactive thyroid and internalizing in the underactive thyroid. And in both cases, not clearing the emotions. And that we needed to alchemize the emotion to stop the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn and to heal the thyroid. So that's one of the many programs of the body, God, and we want to clear them all. If we can, we'll clear them all, and including the damages that were done and the belief systems that we have to continue to do this, or that it's a natural part of our existence when it's not. We created this in our old mode of functioning, in our old way of existing, and we can love ourselves in that space because we didn't know what we were doing, and it wasn't on purpose, and we are always learning, and we're still learning, and we're willing to do this out of love for ourselves and for the universe and for our children, and that love is deserving of more love, so you deserve love in that space. And the only way to clear it is by loving yourself in the spaces that we've never received the love as humans before. And Source Godmother, please neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize that now, including all drama, karma, trauma, pulling out the dharma, neutralizing, purifying, clearing, cleansing, and healing from the cellular, energetic, and magnetic structures in the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious minds, pulling all of that through to oneness, so wholeness, and peace, to truth, to love. Welcoming those helper frequencies and helper beings into these spaces to continue to help us to disintegrate the old and initiate the new, and to utilize the new as we stretch out to these spaces and begin to use those spaces as we move forward in good ways. Please release through our children and up through our ancestral webs, past lifetimes in their webs, and for the collective universal who are open to it at this time, including all planetary systems and on all sides of the veil. In this universe and in the multiverses, we purify, we forgive. We forgive ourselves. We forgive the people before us. We forgive that the humans live this way. We forgive all the damages that were done. We forgive all of the pain spaces that are still sitting in the body that are looking to be purified and cleared and cleansed and healed. We forgive the DNA and RNA. We forgive that we held this DNA and RNA. We forgive that we paid the prices for all of those before. We forgive that the body paid these kinds of prices. We forgive that we weren't able to love ourselves in the wholeness. We weren't able to break chains, that we weren't able to clear these things, but we can now. And we believe in ourselves. And we choose this. And as we do it for ourselves, we do it for the plants, the animals, the air, the earth, the water. We do it for the planets, for the galaxies, and for the universe, and for the Godsource itself. We clear it, and clear it some more. We purify back to the Godsource origins, welcoming those collective healed helpers, those beings of light, those doctors, healers, and nurses in all realms of existence to continue to purify and alchemize these spaces and drop us into those original blueprints, those original codes, and to continue these healings until completed. And we give so much gratitude and so much love and so much thankfulness to those helper beings that are here with us, helping us, guiding us, and loving us as we're doing the best that we can, as we learn our lessons, as we remember these truths, as we neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize these old programs and patterns, as we heal ourselves. Thank you for coming to us. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for this information, even though this information is a punch. Thank you for helping us access it so that we can clear it, so that we can begin to live in brand new ways. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and we're open to receive for best and the highest well-being. With the most ultimate of love and gratitude, I choose this. So I choose this and breathe a good etheric breath. Circulate this. Initiate that new system between the pineal, the heart, and the feet. So Source God Mother, we ask that you immediately clear, cleanse, and heal, that you immediately evolute our systems for best and the highest well-being of the systems within us and the systems around us, including those frequencies of our feet, that you upgrade those frequencies of our feet so that they have all the healing codes, knowledge, and wisdom in them that we need to calm and soothe ourselves and to access that 0 point, to access our conscious decision making and to make choices from that space as we move forward in these good ways. Look at all this light coming in at this time. That's awesome and amazing. Please also connect us from our root chakra down and into the form realm. Please fully and completely root us into this universe and into our family system so that we're sharing life force frequency, healing codes, knowledge, wisdom, and essences of the form realm, including initiating those relationships, those connections between us and nature. And that includes electricity. And that includes the storm systems, that includes the wind and the air and the earth and the water and the metals and the ethers. Please connect us. Please help us remember we're all one. Please help us to communicate into it and to receive communications and knowledge and wisdom from it. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and we're open to receive for best and the highest well-being. With love and gratitude, I choose this. So I choose this and breathe. Good. Again, a big etheric breath. And if there's anybody who needs an etheric breath, you can intend the next one goes to them. Check in if you feel lightheaded. Source God Mother, please ground me to my feet now. If you need a little extra love, please trigger my vagus nerve now. That feels so good. Now, I'm sorry if I triggered anybody with this video. Part of my agreement with the Godsource is that I'll share the information that's going to help the human collective. And sometimes when I share information, it's going to be triggering. So if you did the release, you'll probably notice you're much less triggered after the release. If in the next couple of days you think about these things and you think about these spaces, I implore you to send love into these spaces, that unconditional love in these spaces, and to make that conscious choice to clear them and to free them, and to know that we didn't do it on purpose and that we're always learning. And how do we bring love into these spaces is knowing that, we're not here to be perfect. We couldn't be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect on the earth plane. The universe isn't here to be perfect. She's here to be her true self. And the Godsource is, appreciative and gratuitous of all the experiences that we go through, all the information, knowledge, and wisdom that we're gleaning and that we're sharing with it. And so we need to love ourselves in these spaces. We don't have to. You have free will. That's the thing that I was saying before. We're free will beings. If you don't want to love yourself in the place, don't. But you'll pay the price. You'll continue to create pain and suffering and trauma. Or you can love yourself in that place and clear them, alchemize them as we go, and begin to love yourself and begin to use that energy that you were using on eating your own energy. That's that Ouroboros of pain and suffering. Instead of using it on that, you can use it on creation. You can use it on healing your body. You can use it on prayers for other people. And so feel free to comment. What did you see when we did these healings? What did you feel? What did you notice? Anything that you can add to this, I appreciate that. Add it to the community comments. Remember to subscribe. The more subscribers, the more information gets out to the YouTube world and to the people who need it the most. And the more that I get remunerated. I don't know, there's a word like that. I get assisted by YouTube, and I will use that assistance for more assistance back to the collective. And I hope you all find the peace that you're looking for. If there's anything that I touched on that didn't make sense, I can add that to another video into the future. Please put comments below. And much love to you. Until next time, you take care. Lots of love. From Evie too, even though she's not in the room. Lots of love.